don't know if you were listening to that song, but that was created by a friend of mine about what's happening in the sky. Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. I'm hoping Tina can come on. I didn't hear anything from her. She's going through a lot, doing a lot of things as well. But I guess you know, or you should know, there's two different things coming towards the planet. One should be here this month, one should be here next month. They know it's not a meteorite, they know it's not a comet. But they're not saying what it really is. They're showing abstract pictures. Who knows if they're real or not, of what it is. It's supposed to be a real ship coming in the 27th of next month. The other one is coming this next week or so. They show pictures, but if they're real or not, I do not know. I don't know why my speed is really different today. Kind of running in slow motion. I don't know how it sounds. If anybody can hear it, please contact me in the comment room. It's kind of moving slow. I can see it on my camera, on my picture. Well, Tina is doing really good with her book and promotions and doing a lot of workshops. She's putting out a lot of artifacts, including hats and badges and carry bags with the title of her book on it, picture. So she's moving along pretty well, becoming one of the top speakers in the UFO world about abduction. Well, I'm putting my new book out. It should be out by the end of next month. It's on a spiritual side. It's not a religious book, but it is about Jesus. All right. I'm going to be talking a little different. I'm learning how to talk again. So it's a little bit hard. But I'm sorry if it sounds weird. But I don't know how to change the speed of what's going on with my program. But I want to get into a few things. I've been trying to deal with Musk for over a year. And there's about 13 fake Musk sites up online. I get videos of him saying that it's real, it's really him and all that, but it's all computer graphics, computer programs, whatever. I probably won about 5 Tesla cars, over $100,000, about 5 times. But don't fall into those kind of traps, because almost every famous person is being used by somebody else. And they're saying you won money. All these different people said, I won a contest, I won money. It's all fake. And what they want you to do is buy an Apple card for $500 and give them the number for it. And then they'll send you. But now let's get into a couple of things. I wish Tina was here. I don't know what's going on. She could be in the hospital. I don't know. She is radioactive, which is almost impossible because it goes up and down. But I just found out from a scientist that there is a radiation that is different than the normal radiation that we deal with, that actually can go up and down, which was not really possible for a really long time. Because the average radiation stays for about 100 years. But we'll see. When she's in the hospital, she's being treated for all multiple kinds of things. But I usually make her take out a Geiger counter when we do our show, and she shows she's radioactive. But it's different numbers, different times. But let's get into what's happening if one of these ships is a real UFO. I can't say they are yet. I'm hoping they are. But they won't be what everybody wants it to be. And I'll debate anybody in the UFO world about their beliefs, about what they think and what they say they saw and have happened. few famous people in the UFO world said they were working with alien races. They were showed visions of the past, present, and future. None of them were right about the future. I was friends until he was taken out. Sean David Martin. Even he was about, I'd say, 50-50 on his prophecies. But he did predict 9/11 in detail 1 year before it happened. I was with him in New York City when he was lecturing, and he said that. He explained all three events that were going to happen. So outside of that, I'm not going to go into anything deeper than his book is really important, Sands of Time. Probably one of the most important UFO books you can read. It describes what happened in the UFO world from the beginning, from the 1900s. Fred Bell's books are really important too. Rays of Light, Crystals of Truth. I might have it backwards. My mind's not there with that book, but it's the second most important book to read. Let me sure I have it right there. No, I don't. Sorry. But Fred Bell, pull up his books. His books are really important. He worked with an alien race. Well, as far as I know, they gave him medicine. Tesla worked with an alien race. They gave him weapons. Technology that's going to destroy the planet. All right. And I've been trying to get in touch with Musk over that, but he refuses to contact me. But everybody in the UFO world is afraid of me too. I have direct experience with multiple things. And I'm telling you, aliens are real. And there's multiple alien races here. Bigfoot's real. I was a foot away from it. So the things that are happening right now are crazy. Now, the secondary thing that's happening is the word orbs, O-R-B-S. And the government's all BS because, New Jersey had an influx of many orbs going everywhere. And they came up with their drones. And they're trying to get their drones to follow them, find where they're coming from, where they're going. Hold on, let me see if I can bring her on. Here she comes, hopefully. Well, orbs are dimensional ships, and they're multiple shapes, sizes, and speed. Great. Hold on, let me say hello. Hello, can you hear me? Tina. Uh-oh. Can't hear you, Tina. No words coming across. Try again. You got your volume up or something, Tina? No? I don't hear a word. Are you somewhere different? Well, it's Tina Bird. We can't hear her right now. Hopefully she could get a mic fixed, whatever's happening. Well, I just want to finish the word orbs. 1997. I was working with a UFO person. Tina, I'm hoping you can get in. Try disconnecting and coming back on. I think that might help. Try coming back on again. I don't know if you can hear me. That sounds good, Tina. Whatever you did, it's working.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, wow. You're super loud. Hold on.
We're in the middle of a really bad storm.
Okay. There's a good reason for it then. So, this is Tina Bird. Say hello. Greetings. A pleasure to get you back on.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I've been trying to get on here since about 5 to 7. and we've got a severe storm here in the UK. It's just crossing halfway across the country at the moment, and the winds can be up to between 70 and 100 miles an hour. The rain is battering us, so we do have no.
Well, it's a pleasure. I'm glad you're here. I'll talk about all the things. We'll talk about what you're doing in a second, but let me just finish this one thing about orbs. They have always been here. In the old days when the pilots used to call them pre-fighters and stuff. But like I said, in 1997, I was with a person. His name was Sergeant 18. We went public in New York City. We traveled around the United States lecturing, but we also brought people out at nighttime to film orbs. I should have put a picture of me dancing in orbs up, but I didn't. But they're real. They're not drones. All right. Now, there's sightings everywhere on the planet right now in multiple large quantities. And don't forget, there's 2 ships coming towards us. Whether they're a part of that or not, we did, when I was with Sergio, we did a TV show called Strange Universe. They put a video up of a ship traveling along, stopping, shooting out 3 ships, and then shooting out in super high speed. Because we filmed, it was 30 frames a second at that time. We had to watch it in slow motion, but we put it on the air, and it went up public. The show, Strange Universe, was taken off the air the week after we did the show. All right. But that was 97, between 96 and 97. Phil Schneider was taken out. John Ford was arrested, and then they put him in a nut house because he shot the best video of a UFO crash on Long Island. I saw it. Incredible video. He sent it around the world to 4 countries. They said if he dies, it gets released. So they're keeping him in the nut house. He was trying to go to trial for since 97. And he can't because the government comes in every year and they say he has to be reevaluated. His name is John Ford. All right. And he did film the best video of a UFO crash on the planet in Long Island. I went out there. It was a real story, real event, and nothing was fake. And that's why he's in the nut house saying he's crazy. So, but in the interim, what's happening now, these orbs are all over. If you go and watch your pictures, they don't have to be size-wise. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be little. They could be any size. All right? They could be this big, or they could be... My speed's going slow, Tina, just so you know. I don't know what's going on your end. But they change size. However they can travel from the ship to wherever they are here is basically what an orb is. And they're not solid. They can go through things. So we filmed every kind of orb there was. We helped people film them. All right. And many people say, oh, it's rain, it's snow, it's dust. But we proved it with pictures of one orb sticking inside a tree branch with the branch through it and things like that. But they don't interfere. They haven't been interfering directly with humans in any bad way. I mean, it could go right through your body, which they do as well. Jose Escamillo was based his whole UFO career on, he called them rods, RODS, but they're basically the same as orbs. And he said they were creatures, living creatures. I met him, and he stole our videos and put them up on his show that he did and things. But he died. He was begging for money and help near the end, the last year that he was alive. But he was supposed to do a giant, incredible video of the moon with Kodak in full color. And the moon's in color, believe it or not. It's not black and white like we perceive it to be. So there's so many things that the government won't release. And Tina, I know you said something about Trump, but I'm telling you, he's the most evil person on the planet right now. As of next month, he's taken food stamps away from 23 states in the United States. He's trying to cut and remove Social Security and Medicaid. He's really doing horrible things to the planet. He's getting people fired in hundreds and thousands of jobs in corporations. His goal, who knows what his goal is, but he's tearing down part of the White House to build a giant ballroom. So he's expecting to do these giant parties in the White House. He's really a pathetic person. All right, people. We had 8 million people turn out last Saturday, protesting him. All right, and he put a video up of him in a jet pooping on the people. He's got warped ideas. He lies about everything he says. And I've been trying to get in touch with Musk too as well. Musk is trying to back friends with Trump. All right, because he was going to expose the Epstein files. All this has to pertain to blocking everything that's really happening. Nobody's talking about these ships that are coming or in our atmosphere, coming towards it. And they won't. Only when they land or what they do will they release any more information about that. Now, people have their telescopes. I have one. When it gets close enough to see it and know where it is, I could be able to take pictures of it as well. I mean, a lot of people with their homemade telescopes have filmed things that the government has never reported and put it up. And then they have to talk about it. I mean, I filmed a ship going across the sun many years ago. So, and I almost burnt my camera up doing it. But here, people, this is a real important time for everything, for the planet, for animals, for the ocean, for the air, for people's food, life, breathing air, and everything else. All right. Now, I would tell you this. Aliens are radioactive. Tina knows that. And they need radiation on this planet. That's why Greys live underground. Reptilians cannot live here because it's not radioactive yet. And there's multiple plans of what's going to happen. And I'm sure you can perceive with any kind of off thinking that what you hear is a bunch of lies. Tina's involved in the UFO world greatly now, and she's meeting all these people that tell great stories. The proof is not out there. All right, you know the saying, proof is out there, but nobody's finding it. Tina has more proof than anybody in the UFO world about abduction. I shot more pictures of UFOs than anybody else in the United States. So with the person I was with, but he copyrighted them all. I can't put them up anymore. We did for years. We put 5 new pictures up every week. We were doing a show on Kerry Cassidy's show. But people, it's a changing time. Tina's in the place where she needs to be. I'm in the place where I need to be. I'm putting my new book out next month. It's not about UFOs. To you, explain what's going on in your life right now. You got a lot of things coming out. You made a lot of things. You're selling a lot of things. So tell the world what's going on in Tina's world.
Hi, everybody. So what's going on in the UK is not a lot, actually. With the news blanket, it seems to be getting tighter and tighter. So it's not really sharing any news at all within the UK. Just news about riots and things like that. Get most of my news from YouTube now because of TV. We have such bad signal. We don't get to watch the telly. I can't watch normal telly because the signal was getting worse for some reason. On top of that, with the news blanket, it's like I either get news on my phone when I'm outside my house where I can get snow. So all I've been doing is promoting, like you see some of my merchandise here. I have some more bags made. That's some of my bags. So that's what that is behind me. I'm getting ready for my lecture in December 12th to the 14th of December at Bouverie Hall, Pewsey in Wiltshire. So I'm really looking for that disclosure conference. So I'm going to speak to quite a lot of the people there. And I'm going to speak to Colonel Randy Kramer. He's going to be there. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to listen to his lecture with great expectation. So I haven't really. I've had some fans' questions dated. I'm not sure if it's just because of lack of signal I'm not receiving them, or time of year, or I've not been on YouTube enough. I'm not quite sure what it is. But my sales have gone up, so we're getting the word out. I have done a GoFundMe page actually on Facebook, do my hypnotic regression with an lie detector, but that is actually going to come off. I need to raise enough funds to do both together, otherwise it will just be the hypnotic regression. But it's so expensive to have the lie detector done at the same time.
Did you put a GoFundMe up?
I can see Tommy, but I can't hear what he appears. I think it is my signals of the storm here in the UK. We're in the middle of a bad storm, as I said.
Did you try to put a GoFundMe up to raise money for the lie detector?
So, so we are in the middle of a bad storm here in the UK.
I guess you can't hear me either. We're having serious problems because of a storm. I can't blame the government this time, which I usually try to do. But we're going to have major events happening in the next few months.
It is. We're in the middle of
Oh, well, she dropped off. She's got a storm over, so she's probably going to have a hard time staying on.
Oh, God, we got a very bad storm. So I am breaking up something bad, so we might have to leave it there for this week.
All right, Tina. Look, maybe we can try.
I missed the route of all
a couple of days.
Bad connection. Yes, see you in a couple of days.
All right, Tina.
I do apologize.
Stay in touch with me, all right, Tina? Stay in touch.
I will. Yeah, I will. Bye-bye.
Sorry about that, people. You know, our frequencies get pretty screwed up when there's major storms over us, and she's going through a big one. So, all right, I'm not going to keep this long today because I'm waiting for something to happen this month with the first thing that we're supposed to see. Now, I know people want to hear good things. They refuse to hear the bad things. The people that like Trump like the good things he's supposed to be doing, which he says he's doing. But he's not doing anything beneficial for most of the human race. All the people in the United States, big percentages are on welfare, Social Security, need medical, and things like that. And I don't want to get into it too much because of his name, and Mr. Musk put a video up. He's friends with Trump again, but he's talking about what's going to happen with AI. It could be bad or it could be good. It's going to be bad. They're interviewing some people in companies that are already using robots in AI, and they're saying they're training people to repair robots. But guess what comes next? Robots that repair robots. I mean, if they got robots working on people, they can have robots working on men and women. Robots. We're in trouble, people. We got 4 years. Mark my word. I'm not like all these UFO people, all these so-called psychics, even Nostradamus. The world's in trouble. All right? We'll probably be in war as well. And when he says he's up for a Nobel Prize, the most ridiculous thing on the planet to try to pass or do or whatever. But people, the White House is still shut down. And it's going to stay shut down, I think, as long as Trump can keep it down, because he doesn't want anybody to get involved with the Epstein files. The woman that wrote the book's out. They're trying to get her out of. She's headed a war. I don't want to get into it. It's just too complicated, but it's serious. And Trump's evil people I base my truth, and if I'm responsible to God only, nobody else, not Trump, Musk, any other body on this planet. So if I'm lying to you, I'm lying to God. I'm telling you what I know, what I experienced, what I dealt with in my life. When I lived in New Jersey, I heard Trump's name on the radio and on TV every month. Well, he did this. He went bankrupt. He did this. He did that. Well, he was friends with Hugh Hefner, and he was hanging in the Playboy Club. Why? All right? He had his picture on the cover of Playboy magazine. Trump was thrown out of the Playboy Club. Hefner ended their friendship. All right? And during that time, he said, I'm sorry I even put you on the Playboy magazine. So guess what Trump was doing during that time? Well, the Epstein Files has Musk's name on it. When he had his first fight with Trump a couple months ago, and he was going to expose the Epstein Files, he realized his name was on it. Guess what that means? Oh, well, I better not expose it. Well, I know Epstein was friends with Musk for a little while, but Trump and Maxwell were together. They partied together. And when Trump says, oh, no, 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 he's the biggest liar, and you got him as a president, pull up these sex crimes that are documented in the police department with Mr. Trump. All these things are covered up. Anybody that kisses his ass, I feel sorry for them because they will have to face God sooner or later. Not God. They'll never even get close to God by the angels and by the deities that have to control who comes back here. They're all in trouble. Maybe not on this planet, not in this lifetime, but when they die, they will. Jesus said this, and I'm repeating, I'm not religious. Jesus was a real person. He was the most spiritual person that walked the planet. But he never said he was God. And he's not an alien, which some UFO people say. And he never was. But he did have psychic abilities. And we all did in Atlantis. So getting back to what's happening. All right. Jesus said 3 times in the Bible, alone, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that 3 times? He was dealing with many, many poor people. But he did say that. So again, think what he was saying. All right. I'm not saying God or anything else. God wasn't talking about people here. God doesn't deal with us, people. That's why there's angels. That's why there's deities, and that's why there's aliens. They're all playing with us. Lucifer is not a demon. We got the Luciferians thinking he is and worship him. We got cults and voodoo and all those words, and they worship different things. If everybody worshiped the same God, there would be no war, there would be no fighting, and people would be compassionate and loving each other. But that's not happening. Everybody creates their own God. Aliens do not have a God. They portray themselves to the human race as a God. The Mayans, the Aztecs, have followed basically alien races. What they know are all lies. All the hieroglyphics written in the pyramids and things like that are false. What they were taught by alien races deceiving than people ever understood. And what the Egyptians did to try to follow that was super crazy. Reincarnation is real. All right, people? But the way the Egyptians were taught what happens and how to work through it and how to come back and all that were all lies. Aliens love to play with the human race. But the main reason why they're here, how many UFO people talk about that? Why are they here? Why would they come here? Well, they didn't come here because basically, if you have a field of cattle and you know you're going to sell some to be sold to be meat, some for milk, right? Why would you go in there and kill them? Why would you do anything to them other than doing what you're doing? So alien races do not want to kill the human race completely. But they do not need 8 billion people to eat. All right? Their diet's different than ours, but they do eat humans, just so you know. One of the most important UFO stories is Phil Snyder's story. Read it. He's not a liar. He wasn't a cheat. He wasn't crazy. He didn't commit suicide. He was killed, just like Epstein was killed in jail. All right, I'm going to tell you this straight out. I'm alive. I don't know why. 16 of my best friends, or good friends, were taken out in the UFO world. One whole family. Another one, the husband was a captain of a ship and taken and put in jail, and he's still in jail because he was going to release the UFO files that they had. All right, you want to go back to Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Monroe had a whole script that she was going to release about UFOs that Kennedy told her. Kennedy knew all about it. I mean, there was a movie out that kind of went into that. It was 6 months on TV. It was a really good show. But people that got involved with the UFO world was Einstein. He was involved at some higher weird level because he was working in an inner dream state with them. Tesla worked with him in a physical state. Then we got Truman, who worked with an alien race. Eisenhower worked with an alien race. And they created MJ-12 to control everything that goes on about aliens. That's why you do not see or hear anything about it. The same as Jefferson was fighting with George Washington, and all those people were fighting about the native people. That's why you do not see native history on TV, period. The only channel that showed anything was the Vice channel. People, news is so twisted. Man is twisted. Man is egotistical, and it's growing greater and greater. The more people that get money, the worse this world's going to be. Because they think they can create the world they want. Trump's world's going to be this futuristic, everybody's flying around in cars and in space and everything else. Trump's world, what? Is a party world. But there will be no poor people. There'll be no sick people. And there'll be no elders. They'll all be removed and dying because they have no medical, no food. That's going to happen. Watch the next few months. He's taken away food stamps in the United States from 25 states already, including Hawaii, where I live. Hawaii can pull out of the United States. And it'd be hard for us to survive with our income and our money. But they could. We grow more avocados, fruit, and vegetables here than almost anywhere else. So we're looking at, we have tons of wild boar, wild goats. I mean, there's food here to supply the island if it ever came to the United States and Hawaii separating. But in the interim, Hawaii takes care of its people. Our food pantry feeds so many people. Every big company supplies and supports that and gives food and everything else. So what will happen? Well, we got the army here, and they try to control us as well. Because marijuana laws with Hawaii is different than with the federal government. And they arrest people when they can, the federal government does. People, aliens are much higher in awareness about certain things. Technology is the main thing. So Musk is like pulled into their idea of technology, not the idea of spiritual truth. Not this. He talks about love, and he always asks questions. Do you know what love is, or is love real? Now he puts a picture of Jesus with Trump. Trump's not protected. Getting shot in the ear was not a big thing. The person that shot him was either the worst shot on the planet or the best shooter on the planet. To hit the ear without hitting his head is critically almost impossible from where he was. So now, on the other hand, Trump put his picture on that picture up on the wall in the White House. He's tearing down half of the part of the building in the White House to build a ballroom. His mind's twisted. He wants to take away everything from the elders, the poor people. And he wants the people that are working, the middle class that are still working, which will keep jobs for a while, to pay for everything. He's trying to take $230 million away from the people to pay his bill that he claims a lot of pathetic things, people. I would say he's an alien directly, but everybody tries to say that about big people like Hillary. They claim that she was an alien. They claim these people were reptilian and stuff. If you threw water on them, they would turn into. The stories just get bigger and bigger, and the UFO world exaggerates every one of them. They know little about aliens. I was next to one. Was any one of them ever next to a spaceship even? All right, I have been. I was next to a Bigfoot. I'm talking about a foot away from one. It's all real. The covering up is going on. It is super horrible, people. And what you're being fed is just more lies to eliminate the population. UN agenda -30 is in full effect. We will see the end result, which is one person leading the world. And they vote, 193 countries agreed on that already. Don't ask me why. But it's like saying we all should have one God. Well, that would be good if it was a real God, not a man-made one. People, Tina doesn't like to talk about religion and things like that because she never got help anyhow from anybody. Well, I work with my things that went on in my life. Read my books if you're interested in God, death, reincarnation, and truth. My new book is about Jesus, what he actually taught, what was going on when he was alive. For real. Not he was God and all those kind of words, because that's not true. And there's 2.5 billion Christians on this planet. And there's 2.3 billion Muslims as well. But then you got 1.2 billion Hindu people. So 3 religions that cannot talk about God. God, not a man-made person playing the role of a God, not an aspect of what God could really be, but a version that protects everybody and loves everybody. Well, if you're a creator and you're creating animals, do you create a cat and dog that kills each other? A bear that kills other animals? Would you create that kind of a society if you were a loving being? I mean, dinosaurs, all those things that it created and realized it didn't like what they did and what they do. Why races are taken out from this planet? We're really close to being removed, the human race. Atlantis, there were 9 races here. Only 4 of them survived or stayed. Black, yellow, red, and white. All right. All the other colors, the purple race, the green race, and all those things. Well, you don't know about them. You don't, and you won't ever. Not in this lifetime, because nobody's going to help you unless you find out for yourself. I'm aware of all my lifetimes back to Atlantis and one lifetime before that. And I'm not afraid to talk about it and say what I experienced. People don't have to believe anything I say, and I don't care. I can only put the truth out there. You want to believe it or not, that is your choice. My only person I'm responsible to is God, a real God. Not this one sitting in the chair saying, I'm protecting you. I'm going to take away all your sins. I'm going to forgive you for whatever you do. Even Revelations, people, says you can't be forgiven for certain sins. And basically it's everything that men do and women do. But where do aliens fit into this? They feed us more lies than what they did to the Egyptians, what they did to the Mayans. Why aren't they here? What happened to, why did they build these giant buildings for what? A pharaoh, a king? Trump is not a king. He's a dictator. Big difference. Kings are usually loved by their kingdom. And that's why he's king. Dictators are leading because they're protected by armies and everything else that goes along with it. We have 9 races here coming, and that are none of them good. And then you can hear people, famous name, Alex Collier. He was talking about the Andromedans for a long time. He talked about prophecies and things. The things he said were usually true. Anything he said about the Andromedans was a lie. Did you ever hear of the Galactic Confederation? Well, another programmed idea that's infested in millions of people's minds now, that there's this, they have a god, not a god, a leader of it, alien, Ashtar Command, you hear that word? Well, it's a program. It's created by the government a long time ago. That they're going to come down, take the people up and take them away and all that. It never happened. And every time they get together and stand on these mountains waiting for the ships to come and get them and all those kind of things, you know what happens? Nothing. What do they say? The ones that channel and Ashtar and the leaders, oh, well, it happened in a different dimension. Well, if it happened there, it sure didn't help me here, did it? People want to follow good things. But there's very few good things happening on the planet. Your food is toxic. Your air is toxic. Your water is toxic. It wasn't like that when I was young. You could put dirt on a cut and it would heal it when I was little. Plants sucked up vitamins from the dirt when I was young. There was a lot of things. The air was perfectly clean. The water was clean. I mean, then I lived in Jersey when the Hudson River became contaminated because a couple of corporations pouring the chemicals in there. It was bad for years. We used to eat smoked herring, and they caught in the Hudson River, and then it became contaminated. But many years later, it became clean. I had a scientist friend who had invented a system that pulls all the chemicals out of the water from the Hudson River. But they were shipping these containers of poison around the United States. When they had the red tides, they were telling you this, that, and the other thing because of the weather. It was chemicals that they dumped in the ocean that formed this gross mass of toxic zombie creature liver thing, whatever it was, but they called it the red tide. So we're living in a world that's changing. Musk wants to drive around in flying cars and stuff. Could you picture one drunk in a flying car? How long is that going to last? Now they got, they just showed the new motorcycles that hover on the ground. You ever see a car traveling at 60 miles an hour and trying to stop short? A hovercraft? Accidents are going to escalate. They want to get rid of a lot more people in the next 3 to 4 years. AI is going to take away all the jobs. Trump even admits it, but he won't admit that it's going to be a bad thing. I don't know if he does, and then he goes back and forth. He's another liar. He lied to me directly twice. All right. I don't want his money. You know, everyone that says they're going to give me money, I said I don't want money. I just want to do a live video with him where we can talk to each other live and see each other. I'm not talking about AI programs or anything like that either. And he can't do it. Nobody can, because those people offering you money, and now you got all these famous people. Oh, you won a contest. Send me your link and get a card, and I will give you a gift. It's people in India, Philippines, different other countries that are doing this. And it's easy now. Technology is moving fast, so fast. I'm not here. I'm a make-believe clone talking for you right now. You can believe whatever you want. But Tesla came up with time travel, and you don't hear a word about that. And that's real. And the government does. So why are we in such a mess? Because they're controlling what's happening in the past, present, and future. We know we discover giant cities every 5-6 months. We find skeletons of giants. We find this, that, and everything. Well, there's two things that happen. One, it could be implanted in a time frame of being here now. It could have been implanted a long time ago in time. The Philadelphia experiment was a real program, and it really happened. I was friends with one of the only people that went back and forth in time at that time. All right. Phil Schneider was probably one of the most important people in the Army, Marines. He had the highest clearance. He went into a cave. The government sent him. Why? and there were aliens down there, and they had a battle. I think it was about 67 Green Berets were killed. He was the only one that escaped. He had half of his hand shot off. His stomach ripped from his chin all the way down to his groin, down as far as you can go. And he had his foot blown out. And what did they say? Oh, he tried committing suicide. Wow, what did he use? Space technology? But he got out of there. One person helped get him out because they had to go down this kind of elevator thing. But they found thousands of skeletons of humans there. All right. One level of awareness knowing that they eat humans. But see, the UFO world wants to get people to follow you. When you talk about bad things, people don't want to follow you. I talk about the truth. And the truth's not good. So most people don't want to follow me. But when I did a show with Sergeant 18 on Karen Cassidy's show for 9 months, I had him as my co-host. We put up 5 pictures of UFOs every week that we shot. Not tic-tacs, not dots, not the famous Phoenix lights, real ships. I can show you, but I can't do it publicly. And that's why I wanted to get Musk personally. But they all talked to me for a week or two, and then they said, oh, well, you won a prize, you want your gift. I said, I don't want nothing from Trump or Musk. I just want the truth out. And when I'm going to bring this in because it's really important right now. Trump's first election, all right, he met Putin. But what happened before that, Musk was friends. They were all friends. I mean, Epstein, before they killed him, and all those other kind of things that went down. Well, Putin on Russian TV put up on a special saying he wanted Trump, this is 3 months before Trump was elected president. He says, I want you to tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Putin saying this. I had a friend that spoke Russian. He was translating word for word when he was saying it on TV. And then he says, I want you to tell the world what yous are doing with aliens. Then he said, we're working with 27 alien races, which one of the top people in the UFO world who I was friends with, Bob Dean, he's dead, had the highest clearance in the Army as well, and he was working with them. And he spoke a lot about different things. But they were never here to help the human race in a good way. Well, he said 2 of the races want to destroy the planet. And this is Putin talking on TV to the world. So guess what happened? Putin and Trump meet. When they met, do you remember what happened the day after Trump met Putin? He supposedly said, I created the Space Force. It was already there. But he said he created the Space Force. Why would he do that the day after he meets him? Now, I just found out like last 2 months ago, he wants to move it somewhere. Well, he loves spending money for things that have nothing to do with people starving and homeless right now. Never mind, we're going to go into a civil war if he does what he says, what he wants to do. If people don't block him, don't stop him. We had 8 million people protest him last Saturday. He's destructive and he doesn't care. Now, I'm not going to go into attacking his wife, but who is his wife? Where was his wife from? What was his wife before he married her? All right. Why would Trump, being so important in his ego, do certain things that he did? Like hang out in the Playboy Club and go to clubs with Epstein and his girlfriend. Well, there was a special out about the women confessing. I mean, and they had a special on the Playboy Club of the women that confessed that went on there. They all said they were paid off and they couldn't come out, or they'd lose their family, lose their job, lose everything. And that's how people work. People need money to live. I'm going to take your family away. I'm going to take the money away. Well, guess what? You're usually forced to doing things. Now, when children were picked to go to war, why were people 17 years old Give me 1 second. I got to get this call. All right, people. Sorry. Something incredible is happening right now. I'm going to have to end the show. But hopefully Tina will be coming on with me maybe in a couple of days if we can get it straightened out with weather and everything else. I'm not a storyteller. I'm not a liar. I live in truth and I'll die in truth. But peace, love, compassion. Email me, hawksblood1aol.com. You want the truth, I'll tell you it. Like I said, I lost 16 of my friends that were taken out. A few others that were, one's in the nut house, one's here and there, two are in jail. One's in prison for murder, which he never did. But Tommy Hawksblood, stay in touch. Please call me. Send this link to everybody you know. Sorry it's a little screwed up today, but we will move forward, trying to bring the truth out, and we'll soon see if the ship is a ship. Love, light, and compassion.